system. Great, and then you can hit start webinar if you want. So what, you actually share the slide first. So people, I don't want this.
Happy holidays. Oh, we can't hear you. Happy holidays. Much better. Thank you for your patience. It's very important for everyone to be here on time. Thank you for everyone who did arrive on time. I know it's a manic time of year for a lot of alerts and all that. Welcome to our December 19th full board meeting in the Manhattan Community Board 11. I'm Xavier Santiago. I'm the chair of CB11. This meeting is officially called to order at 6:59 p.m. Tonight we're going to district manager. Sting, assistant district manager for the commission. Is Marlene interested? Thank you. In order to conduct an efficient meeting, let's observe a few ground rules. One, no one is speaking until round 4. 2, CB11 members, if you have a question, please make a motion to recognize. You should not engage in the back and forth discussion. The chair will recognize the next person to speak. Members attending on Zoom can find a raise hand button by first clicking the participants icon to access the panel where that button is located. If you have any technical issues, please relay your difficulties to the staff in the chat. The chat should not be used to discuss or pose questions about topics. All subject remarks should be made on the record. Please keep your questions as time as brief and not a topic to the discussion. Members of the public, you can register to speak in the public session by completing the pre-registration form and providing your name, affiliation, and topic of your comments. A link to the registration form is shared in the chat. The link is also accessible on the meeting agenda. The registration in the public session closes 7:15. We will now take attendance. Board members, please answer present when your name is called.
Jose Altamirano,
Present.
Stephanie Arroyo. April Autry. Mark Bogarski,
Present.
Adem Briha,
Yeah.
Corinne Hauser. Devon Cronshaw. Kenneth Crouch,
Present.
Carlos Diaz,
Present.
Rosa Diaz. Present. Angela Donadell. Jessica Elliott, present. Judith Cabrera. Yeah. Raha Flores. Brandon Gillespie. Absent. David Giordano is excused. John Green.
Yeah.
Annie Hansen. Wanda Hopkins. Christina Johnson. Jewel Jones. Present. Sharon Lynch. Beverly McFarland. Giselle Malloy. Sage Mason. Malik McCullough. Jennifer Meyer. Present. Alicia Miranda. Jessica Morris. Here. Nilsa Orama. Present. Beverly Pavone. Present. Claudia Perez. Nicholas Reyes. Asher Rodriguez. Present. Eugene Rodriguez.
Present.
Don Sanders. Xavier Santiago.
Present.
Isaac Scott.
Present.
Russell Schuler.
Present.
Loretta So.
Present.
Vincent Torres. Anne Marie Vasquez. Present. Jason Villanueva.
Present.
Andy Vivas Vasquez. Michelle Wilshire Clement.
Present.
Jordan Wright. Jason Wood. And Malik McCullough.
Here. Present.
Thank you, everyone.
Any points?
Vinnie Torres.
Present.
Thank you. We have a quorum.
Thank you very much. The agenda for tonight's meeting was distributed ahead of time by the board officers posted on our website. Its meeting calendar. If there are no objections, we'll adopt the agenda. Stated board members object to adopting the agenda. You may raise your hand. Seeing no objections, the agenda is not adopted. We'll now move on to our pre-registered speakers. We each have 3 minutes. Few ground rules. For those wishing to speak, 1, you must sign up to give testimony, provide name and affiliation. 2, you will be allowed 3 minutes to speak. 3, you should address your testimony to the board, not the public. 4, you should speak clearly into the microphone. 5, you should be prepared to respond to board members' questions or to clarify facts and opinions presented in the comments. Board members, you should only ask questions, commentary, will not be entertained. As we have so far signed up to speak, Marina Ortiz. Agenda issue is housing, and we recommend for the 3 minutes you stay, you talk for 2, and then leave questions if possible. For yes, I did.
Okay, I'm sorry, I was busy filling the room.
We love New York, but I guess it's better than pizza wrap. You got 3 minutes, Marina.
On? Hi, good evening. I have a few things I'd like to address tonight. Been introduced myself. Marina Ortiz, Control Preservation. Number 1, the setup for your virtual meetings does not comply with the city's open meetings law. You disable public chat and block the list of attendees. That was the primary way that constituents could communicate with each other and comment on what was being said. Also, the setup of virtual meetings held in the board office does not allow us to see or hear everything that's going on. I know you've installed multiple cameras, but it's still not working because people are still talking off screen, and so it's hard to understand what's happening. Number 2, I'd like to address an off-the-cuff remark made during an executive meeting alleging violence against board members during the rezoning vote, which was held here, ironically. When pressed, the story changed from board members were assaulted to a single instance of one protester forcefully grabbing one board member's arm. Eastern Preservation is a nonviolent organization who do not condone assault against anyone in our community. By contrast, two of our protesters were physically attacked by members of Positive Workforce. Board members were witness to these assaults, and yet no action was ever taken. Demonizing protesters sets a very dangerous precedent, and so I'm asking for a formal retraction or clarification of that claim. Please keep our name out of your mouth during meetings at which we are not present. Number 3, speaking of rezoning, and I live in a new development, I was applicant number 172, but still had to fight to get an apartment. I was told that I didn't qualify because I, quote, didn't earn enough to afford affordable housing. Councilmember Ayala did help me secure an appeal, which did turn out in my favor. Now I'm paying less than half of the rent that I was paying before. Still, there are thousands of folks in this community who are not as well informed and who get lost in the impersonal calculations and algorithms. We have so many young professionals desperate for affordable housing who want to stay in their community. One single parent, for example, pays almost $3,000 a month in rent. We need to do better. Thank you.
Next, we have Eileen Moya Perez, speaking about housing. About 3 minutes.
Okay. Hello, my name is Eileen Moya Perez. I'm a resident of the barrio. I was raised here and have spent over 25 years of my life here collectively. I, like many others, cannot afford the cost of living in this community. I am a 33-year-old professional with graduate studies. I returned from Puerto Rico 4 years ago to care for my mother, who is having critical health challenges. I have searched endlessly for affordable units in this community and have had zero luck. I've even gone on foot to ask local private buildings if they had empty units, and the overall response is silent as large building signs being forthcoming group carrying from their buildings. It is clearly has become undesirable to rent through class war and racism. As a young professional that wants to stay here, continue contributing to my community, and need to stay in a hospital to care for my mother, I cannot live under dignified conditions. Instead, I continue living in my suburban home that my brother was currently formerly turned house into like a mental health supported housing. While we exist crowded in a small apartment, our rent goes up every year, 33% of our income before tax, and our services drastically decline in quality. My mother, while undergoing aggressive chemo and radiation for her cancer, had to often return home to no water, no hot water, no working elevators, no heat in the apartment. I can't even begin to explain how dehumanizing it feels to watch your mother fighting for her life. Where I'm barely able to walk, I had to sit in a cold bathtub while she waited for me to boil a dangerously heavy pot of water so that she could take a warm bath. I even remember when I had to make lines outside across the street to collect water in whatever containers we had from a public makeshift water station, when we went 3 days without water in our entire complex and zero warning or explanations from NYCHA. They didn't even come to our house to notify or provide us with water, as it is their duty to do so for people with disabilities when basic services, the ones we pay for, are not provided. Is that what you call dignified living for someone? We've been through water contamination in Wagner houses, lead exposure in these projects, and now just lack of basic resources in Washington projects. We are tired and our mother deserves better. I have been involved in organizing this community for over 15 years now. I was even honored by my community in 2013 for my involvement. And yet I don't have access to affordable housing and have to compete to stay in the place I call home through a broken housing lottery system, which we all know is questionable. It's crazy how it's lottery for some people, but not for others. I live just behind a luxury art space where some people got in because of who they know, despite not being low income. We know, and the community knows, who and what happened there. While I wake up to no water on so many days, they work up the luxury and culture that we make possible, by the way. And yet some of us have been here and built here and have to sign up for a waiting list with thousands of people. If you are lucky, you get a callback in 3 to 4 years for a unit too small for your family. If you are lucky, you make 80 to 130,000 annual salary for affordable housing in a building like 1998 Second Avenue, in a community whose mean income is 30 to 10,000, in a city that doesn't provide these salaries to the majority of the people. While developers get nice tax breaks to build affordable and low-income units in our name, and turn around and move in a bunch of wealthy outsiders that don't even respect the cultural fabric of this community or contribute in meaningful ways. All while our air gets contaminated with the constant building and beautification for them and cost over Lisa. We are tired of the housing corruption. I urge the entire board to create viable, dignified living options and pipelines for the young professionals local to this community and for people that have been culturally and generationally here before SPAHA and gentrification. The level of displacement, gentrification, inhumane living standards is unacceptable and violent. I deserve more dignity and a future here. My mother deserves more dignity. The local invited community deserves more dignity. More time?
Yeah, I'll give you an extra 30 seconds. Would you kindly submit it as a document? So
I will,
put it in the public record?
absolutely,
Give
absolutely.
you an extra 30 seconds.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for your efforts. Okay.
The local invited community deserves more
No,
dignity.
I gave you an extra 30.
Oh, my bad. Okay.
But please submit it to we'll put it in the public record.
Okay, thank you.
I appreciate your expediency. And, we stand with you. Thank you. Okay, next we have, our public addressers, sorry, our elected officials reports. Do we have, Sylvia? You'd like to speak on behalf of, Senator Congress, you have 3 minutes. And again, reminding you, don't repeat any information until I said before, or, any service literature events, you can post and send it to office, we'll post them as appropriate. Thank you, for 3 minutes.
Hey everyone, it's Sophie from Senator Chong's office. We're doing our first session, which starting in very soon, right after the new year. We do have some new bills that we're working on that have to do with EBT cards and further protection. So the EBT cards will have a chip now, kind of like the credit cards, and that will protect people from getting scammed further, which is happening a lot. We're also co-sponsoring 2 bills that have to do with SNAP. One that makes a task force to look into creating a state SNAP program, and another one that extends current SNAP benefits. We still have our coat drive going on, so we need to bring more coats. It's going really well so far. It's ending this Thursday. And our office will be closed for the holidays starting next Monday. We will reopen on January 2nd. As always, if you need assistance, you can come by our office or give us a call. We're at 335 East 100th Street, and our phone number is 212-828-5829. Thanks and happy holidays.
Great. Any questions? Okay. Do we have any other representatives or public elected officials present? Before I go to those registered online. Tamika, Matt, one of our district leaders.
Hello, everybody. It's me, the district leader and the state committee woman. I'm just going to do a brief overview. On December 5th, we had a nice turnout at our rally to fully fund section 9. On December 16th, we had a winter wonderland with the kids. We did have a great time and blast. Last night, our Democratic Club passed 2 resolutions. One to restore affordable activating program for co-op and condo owners, and the other one to address open air drug use and amending the 8338 as we denied, and that's the Safer Consumption Act. So we'll be going to, Albany, starting in February, all the way through April of 2024. If you want to be able to go to Albany with us to talk about those 2 important issues, please give me a call at 347-523-4410. tmac@cc68ad.info, and then ehcfgg.info. It's happy holidays, and thank you for your time, and I'll see you next year.
Thank you. Next, we have Nina Norwood from Congressman Esposito's office. She's having birthday. Nina? Okay, Nina, you should be able to unmute yourself.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you so much for that introduction. My name is Nina Norwood. I am the Deputy District Director for United States Congressman Adriano Espaillat's Harlem office, and thank you very much. So I do have quite a few announcements that I need to make, but I will try to get through them as concise and as quickly as possible. So of course, we are continuing to highlight one of our biggest announcements of this quarter of the year, which is the funding the Second Avenue Subway Phase 2. Representative Espaillat and Senator Schumer, after many years of dedication and hard work, have successfully delivered $3.4 billion in federal funding for the second phase of the Second Avenue subway construction. So I definitely know, and everybody on this call knows the importance of that piece. And we are very, very much looking forward to all of the funding and needed things that's going to come to the district due to that. So we're very happy for the East Side, very happy for Harlem as a family. So we're also going to move on to Representative Espaillat and Senator Gillibrand introduced the Transit Resilient Act. Representative Espaillat and Senator Gillibrand reintroduced the Resilient Transit Act, a legislation authorizing $300 million for each fiscal year until 2026 for grants to strengthen the resiliency of our nation's public transit system. So we're definitely very happy to make that announcement coming out of our office as well. I'm going to quickly move on to the congressman has also secured $3 billion for the Green Climate Fund by Biden administration. Representative Espaillat and Killmonger Dover have spearheaded the effort to renew the U.S.'s commitment to the Green Climate Fund, a significant move that has received approval from the Biden administration. The commitment reflects a dedication to addressing environmental challenges and supporting global climate initiatives, making a positive step towards sustainability and responsibility climate action. Thank you so much for that as well. So I'm going to quickly move on to there are still accepting proposals for the Kingsbridge Armory. So that has been going on for some time. So the response date is going to be January 18th of 2024. So again, to reintroduce that, that's $200 million investment by the mayor and Governor Hochul into the Kingsbridge Armory. So the very last announcement I would like to make is Congressman Espaillat presents the 6th annual Dominicans on the Hill. That's going to be February the 7th of 2024, 10 a.m. at the Capitol Visitor Center. So we definitely look forward to that annual event and all that's going to bring to DC for that. So of course, if the constituents are in any need of assistance, please reach out to the Harlem office at 212-663-3900, and any member of our team will be more than happy to help you. So again, I'm wishing everyone the happiest, healthiest holiday season. And if there's no questions for me, that'll be the conclusion of my report. Chair Ms. Gain, thank you so much. And I'm Chair Santiago and Ms. Gain, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Any questions? Yes, question.
Hi, Nina, I just wanted to make sure that I heard you properly. When you were talking about the transit resilience, 3.5 million, and you were saying that it was gonna be every, how many years?
Okay, so I'm gonna spin it back. Give me 1 second, okay? I got you. Okay. All right, so that is 300 million for each fiscal year until 2026 for grants to strengthen the resiliency and of the nation's transit system.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Happy holidays. With that, that concludes our elected officials reports. We will now move on to our borough president's report. Give a report on that, Mark.
Hello, everyone. Happy holidays. Whatever you celebrate, our office wishes you joy, and I'm here to bring you greetings from Manhattan Borough President Mark Levine. My name is Porfirio Figueroa. I am the community coordinator for the office and also liaison to CB11 and 12. Our office held numerous events during the Thanksgiving season, distributing hundreds of turkeys and over 10,000 pounds of produce and groceries at the community centers, schools, and NYCHA developments across the borough. For those of you who want to join us at future events, please sign up for our newly formed volunteer corps on our website, manhattanbp.nyc.gov. Tomorrow, the Manhattan Borough President will be in CB11 at the Urban Upbound Annual East Harlem Holiday Toy Giveaway event. Thank you to everyone who was able to join us during the leadership training series. We appreciate everyone's dedication and participation. And for those of you who are interested in viewing these sessions or who need to complete the required COIB, EEO, or combating implicit bias trainings, we are sharing them on our Manhattan Borough President YouTube channel, and the messages will go out to all the DMs and chairs when the links are ready. Our office hosted information sessions on how to apply for capital funding for the fiscal year 2025 for school, not-for-profit organizations, and city agencies, both on Thursday, December 7th and December the 14th. For further information on eligible projects, please visit the Manhattan Borough President's Mark Levine's website. Under resources, go to budget, then capital and funding. All applications must be submitted ASAP for time to review by our office and or to have a meeting with the budget team if it's needed. February 22nd is the absolute deadline with no exceptions. Current open meetings law is set to expire July 1st, 2024. Ahead of this statute expiring, the New York State Committee on Open Government will issue a report to the governor and New York State Legislature on the application and implementation of hybrid meetings, as well as recommendations related to the use of video conferencing moving forward after July 2024. The Manhattan Borough President's Office held a public hearing on Thursday, December 14th, 2023, to gather feedback from the public on the benefits, strengths, challenges, and shortcomings of video conferencing and hybrid meetings, as well as gathering recommendations for how to improve access, participation, and overall engagement in local public meetings. All testimony was submitted, or will be submitted to the New York State Committee on Open Government. Those looking to provide testimony can also send any information to our office at 1 Center Street, 19th floor, by going to our website. Last, I will say, we released today a New York Times article, and the Manhattan Borough President has a new push to improve mental health care for homeless New Yorkers, in which the Manhattan Borough President Mark Levine is calling for more treatment teams and psychiatric beds in the borough to address the city's mental health crisis and need for affordable housing. Wishing everyone a happy new year and Merry Christmas, or whatever you celebrate. You can reach me at p.figueroa@manhattanbp.nyc.gov.
Thank you. Any questions? Yes, Eugene.
I really don't know how to bring this question. But I have a big problem with what's going on at the Hula Cultural Center. And I'd like to know if the borough president is gonna get involved in ensuring that the cultural center is actually a cultural center. Now that the Hispanic Federation lost their contract, and we're looking to, put a new contract in there, like the support for community-based organizations to run the building.
We cannot and do not get involved in how community-based organizations run their organizations. And Eugene, if you would like to address that, you can always write to me or I can follow up and get you an appointment with the borough president.
That's not what I'm asking. I'm asking, there's a new contract gonna come out.
As I said, we don't get involved in contracts or being involved in how a not-for-profit runs their organization.
The councilwoman has, agreed to have a series of conversations in the community about.
We are always open and would be willing to have a conversation. So as I said, you can always write to me or I will send that information to scheduling so you could schedule an appointment with the borough president.
Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you very much. With that, concludes our borough president's report. We will now move on to our public hearing. We'll allow the public hearing on land use application N24 CBRY and N24 CRY City District. Opportunity, DCP will allow the presentation of these presentations occurred earlier this month. However, DCP expressed questions. The ground rules, you must sign up to give testimony, providing an affiliation. 2 will be allowed 3 minutes to testify. 4, you should address your testimony to the board on public. 5, you should speak clearly into the microphone. And 6, you should be prepared to respond to board members' next question. Board members shall ask certain questions, commentary, and not contain. Okay, we will now call any witnesses who wish to give testimony to the registration. Are there any members of the public who have signed up? Just a minute, you are open in case someone wants to see the testimony. While we wait, in the event that anyone does want to send written testimony, submit it to the board office via email at Manhattan and Nancy11 at cb.nyc.gov and 11 at cb.nyc.gov. The deadline to submit written testimony to be anything will move like that.
The date of the land use meeting.
Okay, so January's land use meeting. By January 10th, we'll need testimony. With that, I'm going to close the public hearing for land use application and 24/0/1101. Next, we'll go on to our second public hearing, which is including land use.
Okay.
Yes.
Can you give me a brief elevator, description of what city of yes or economic opportunity? So those of us who don't go to your meetings.
A DCP could probably give the best brain up if, who's on from DCP? Oh, yes, please.
Hello, everybody. My name's Trevor Levitz. I'm the community liaison to CB11, CB10. I'm joined by Laura Smith. She's the executive deputy director of strategic planning at DCP. So far, we've presented DEO to the Economic Development and Land Use Committee. But I want to give you all just a very quick overview of what this is. It's a very exciting proposal. This is one of 3 citywide text amendments that are being unveiled by the Adams administration. The first was carbon neutrality, which is updating zoning to help buildings throughout the city achieve carbon neutrality by 2050. We are on to the second, the citywide text amendments, economic opportunity. This really addresses how a lot of outdated zoning regulations prevent small businesses from expanding. As you may know, there's widespread retail vacancy and used car run. It hasn't rebounded to its pre-pandemic levels. It goes for employment too. There's a whole suite of 18 proposals, all very ambitious. And they range from allowing small-scale boutique manufacturing uses in neighborhood commercial districts, enabling upper story commercial activity above residences, streetscape regulations, and a whole suite of proposals that will really position the city to recover from the pandemic and become more economically vibrant in the years ahead. I think it's fueled spirited discussion at every community meeting we presented it to, so we urge you all to check it out. Read up on the proposal. We're collecting all questions from community members and getting written responses back to help inform the land use committee's resolution. Thank you all very much.
Thank you very much. That you have until January 10th to send in written testimony. Now we have our next public hearing on land use application N220434 CRM, which covers 15-21 West 124th Street text amendment. It's like a 10-30 land use meeting at Borough Board. This covers CB10 and 11. The zoning text amendment with the allotment they have to keep set aside for parking in a building, and that is just what they're asking to change that requirement. So for that, we put additional curb cut, et cetera, and so on. We will now open the floor for any testimony that people would like to submit. And for the record, everyone knows that all of our meetings are not on public, but they're recorded for posterity's sake, so you can actually watch these in advance. They're a great podcast too. And that's essential. Okay. Anyone else sign up online? Again, you have until January 10th to submit the testimony for the Lions application and 220434 CRM. Then we'll get to that on West 124th Street. Text amendment CB10, CB11 will be written in January. The borough is waiting to apply on that once we have taken up decision. Oh, we're voting on, sorry, correction. We're voting on it today. So. Okay, that will now move on to our business session. We'll have we have the adoption of board minutes from the last full board meeting that were restricted ahead of time by the office. If there are any objections, we'll adopt the minutes from the board meeting. We'll reject the adoption of the minutes. We ask the raise your hand. Yes, Justin Morrison.
Just a point of clarification, the link to the meeting materials was not an active or accessible link in the agenda that was mailed to board members. Yes. I don't know where to find the information.
I will double check. I would have appreciated a heads up so we could have resent that. But the minutes for the November meeting are on the website.
Are there any objections? Seeing no objections, the minutes from last full board meeting are adopted. You'll soon be available on the CB11 website. And in the interest of time, since it's the holiday season, we'd like to get us out on time. I'll keep my remarks very brief. My chair reports mostly for information purposes. However, if you want to highlight the mayor's town hall that happened here in the neighborhood, it was good to see other members from our board and community stakeholders. We appreciate all who were present to see the testimony and weigh in on the issues high up order of public safety, quality of life. There was also concerns about affordability and housing and a few others that were raised with education. That's important for all of us to partake in these town halls, and it was one of the instances where the mayor's brought all of his commissioners, and that's a real value add for us. Thank you to all the board members who've been showing up at all the community events. It's really great. It's getting a lot of traction, a lot of notice, so please continue to do so. I also want to highlight that Jose Morano, the chair of Public Safety and Transportation, and Amy Liston, I attended the attorney's office with recommendations on their findings, their experience in trying to make right safe space and some of the hurdles they're facing for some recommendations. Public Safety and Transportation Committee will be taking that up in the coming term. And then we also had the Manhattan Borough President's public hearing on virtual hybrid meetings, and we're listening to everyone giving testimony, voting chairs, as the members of the public on their experience today. It's very interesting, the highlights, but Assembly member boards has legislation proposed to give discretion to community boards to determine what would be best for them. And they're hoping to have a partner in the Senate who carry that as well. Ultimately, they'd like to see a world where each community board can determine what's best. You know, in some instances of executive, we discussed creating committees to be virtual, and then we're all present for full board. So we're able to be a little bit more efficient. So again, we'll see, track and see what happens by June. And with that, I'll encourage all of you, and with our next site visit of Second Avenue Subway phase one. We're going to do the site walkthrough at 116th Street. So those board members who want to come, we'll keep you posted. Stay tuned for that. A lot of elected officials will probably come along. They didn't get to make the other tour. And we'll also carry on down 106th Street with Franklin Plaza to the town of Sarah's too. So with that, I'll conclude my share report. Are there any questions? And with that, we'll move on to our district manager's report.
Excuse me. Good evening, everyone. My report is mostly for information, but I did want to highlight one thing. So on December 13th, HPD announced that the housing lottery for the Sendero Verde Phase 2, the Phase 2 Sendero Verde project has launched, and applications are now live. We've included links and information to the Housing Connect website in our newsletter. But also, as always, you can visit the project website, senderoverde.nyc.com or Housing Connect to find information about this housing opportunity and how to apply.
Thank you. Is there a vice chair's report? Director's report? Secretary's report? I'd like to thank Michelle for serving as the role of secretary during this time tenure. We will have Rosa Diaz, who will be stepping up to be our new secretary in January. So a round of applause. Okay, with that and also too, I won't forget this guy right over here, who's now going to still spearhead land use, Jason Villanueva. So thank you for your time and service, as always. We now conclude our officer reports and then move on to committee reports and action items. First up is environment, open space, and parks.
Hello, everyone. Our meeting minutes are available for your review. We had a lively meeting as always. Just a note from Randall's Island Park Alliance that all grass fields are closed and will reopen in March, as well as spring and summer permits and special event permits are now open for 2024. So I know those fill up quickly. We had a presentation on West 85th Street, formerly known as Spectre Playground Reconstruction from Central Park Conservancy. This is a park on obviously West 85th Street. As you know, being a border district to Central Park, we hear about all park happenings in Central Park. So we have been asked to make some sort of position with this project, which is one of 21 playgrounds built in the 1920s and was one of 3 that had yet to be reconstructed. They are looking at Seneca Village history and are working with the community as they plan the reconstruction of the park with ongoing community outreach. They have 2 paths that will be reconstructed for ADA grading. The playground will be for ages 5 through 12, and there will be an additional picnic area. Play structures will emulate the trees in the site, and there will be a water feature. The committee made a motion to provide a letter of acknowledgement for that playground reconstruction, which passed unanimously, and we'll be voting on that shortly. But just to finish up these meeting minutes, we also had a presentation from NYCHA and Grain Collaborative on the Clinton Cloudburst Resiliency and Resident Amenity Upgrades. This was a product of the East Harlem Vision Plan for a Resilient East Harlem that was supported by a letter of support from the community board a few years ago. There are 3 sites at Clinton houses being considered at East 109th Street, East 106th Street, and East 104th Street playgrounds and basketball courts based on the environmental assessments. And the idea is that they would be creating ways to hold water, to prevent flooding, as we all know is an issue in our district. So they're, working on, documentation and will be coming back to the Environment, Open Space and Parks Committee in June for an update. We also talked about Earth Day planning and delegation, so let me know if you would like to get involved with that. Okay.
Good. Any questions before we move on to the action item? Seeing none, there was Bill Grants made a motion to provide a letter of acknowledgement to the West 85th Street playground construction, the motion second by Paula and passing that. Motion to approve the committee's recommendation, that letter, Nielsen,
Motion to approve.
second, Rosa. All those in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? The motion carries. Thank you. Next up is Youth and Education. David Giordano is ill. Councilor Rodriguez.
Okay, good evening. I have like some notes on my phone, so. Oh, it's on. Right. I'm not going on stage. There we go. All right. So I just have some notes on my phone. So we have one resolution, which is about. Okay, it's a letter of support for the CDC resolution on monitoring and reporting indoor air quality in schools. The motion was, it did not say who made the motion, it said who was the second on it. So Christina Johnson can pass. Unanimously.
Russell made them.
Oh, Russell made the motion, okay. We also had the, Children's Aid Society, Keystone Club. They basically gave the same presentation that they gave to the full board, they gave to the, committee, and the event was last Friday. I think it was a very good event, very successful. We had a pretty good turnout, so if anyone wants any information about that, you can come find me after. NIAM also presented on the research of youth and families around safety issues in East Harlem, and I'm sorry, I'm trying to read these notes, and I have them all. Junior League, serving East Harlem, just some programs came and talked about their services for youth within East Harlem, so Scan Harbor, College Prep Services, Union Settlement are looking to expand services in the community, and after-school programming from Urban Justice Center. Also, the principal from Capitol Prep introduced herself and talked a little, and she wants to come back and give a formal presentation, hopefully in the new year, so.
Any questions? We're in the business session right now, so that's for board members. Yeah, but feel free, you can talk after all side, absolutely. Okay, any questions?
So.
Good job, thank you.
We're blind.
Go ahead, Michelle, your question.
This is not a question, I just wanted to say that last Friday's event was very well done. And to get kids engaged in talking about the real issue of gun violence, when it really affects them, I thought was achieved, and I think that was the goal. And I applaud y'all.
Yeah, I think it was a very good conversation. Also, a lot of education was done. It wasn't just talking about laws that won't be passed. Some of the kids had like some questions. Like I remember one question specifically, a kid said, "So you're telling us to avoid guns, but like what if you find a gun?" And it was very interesting to do that education. Any other questions?
We have a, Russell Freeland, and like, support the CDC's resolution on the school. Motion second by Christina Johnson, pass it. No, sir, on the second. I'll give John reading that one, and motion approved, so John reading, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? The motion carries. Next up is licenses and permits. And feel free to go all of them.
Even the executive one?
No, exactly.
Yeah, these, oh, I already, I'm gonna go for one. Got it. All right, so just to make that point, we had some, OCM applications for the executive because they were within the, 30-day window, we couldn't get an extension for. So the board had to take, position to executive to get it in time, that'll be covered later. You guys don't want to talk about that. So for liquor licenses, we have a one pizza restaurant for new application for a wine and beer and cider license for restaurant at 23 East 108 Street. There was a motion to approve and it was passed unanimously. Number 4 was Miss Ann Potter, new application for a wine and beer and cider license for restaurant at 173 East 99th Street. The committee, motion to approve that unanimously. Number 5, MFG Enterprises Corp. doing business on Maumee, renewal application for wine, beer, and cider license for restaurant at 1649 Park Avenue on 117th Street. The committee recommended that application be approved. Number 6 was Philadelphia Restaurant Corp. doing business at Philadelphia Restaurant, renewal application for wine, beer, and cider license for a restaurant located at 118 East 116th Street. The committee recommended that application be approved. The final liquor license was Food for Soul LLC, doing business as Two Sisters, Four Brothers, Restaurant Island. It was a renewal application for a full liquor license for restaurant at 355 East 116th Street. The committee recommended that application be approved. Now for the cannabis retail dispensary applications. Number 8, not going to read all New York City Greens, they withdrew, so it was denied. Number 9, Land Spread Dispensary, new application for a cannabis micro business, with retail authorization license for a property at 2128 Second Avenue on 109th Street. The committee recommended that application be approved. If anybody's noticed that location's been open, they have been, but they have a hemp license, so they've just been selling product with hemp and I believe CBD. These applications are start selling with THC, so they've been following all the rules, just in case anyone wondering why they are legal. Number 9 was Inner Jar Inc., new application, but I believe they withdrew as well, so that was denied. Number 11, same thing, Tiffany Stoker, new application, it was withdrawn, so the committee denied it. And then number 12 was Global Force Equity LLC, new application for an adult use cannabis retail dispensary for a property at 1796 Lexington Avenue on 111th Street. They did not submit the required documents. I don't believe they were present at our meeting, so they were denied. And that was it for the cannabis licenses that we went over for the meeting that didn't fall in that 30-day window, so that's why we can vote on this tonight. And then for street activity permits, we just had one. Assembly and Christmas Toy Drive giveaway street event. It was denied because they did not submit the documents and nobody for that event attended. That's it.
Great, thank you. Any questions? So we have motions that are presented by license and permits, for liquor license, number 3 is approved, number 4 is approved, number 5 is approved, number 6 is approved, number 7 is approved, for the campus retail dispensary, number 8 is denied, number 9 is approved, number 10 is denied, number 11 is denied, number 12 is denied, and number 13 is street is denied. Bundle all these, is there a recommendation? Council Thomas, second by Benny Flores, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Don Sanders opposed. Any abstentions? The motion carries. Thank you very much, and then we'll come back to you, when we get executive, just to cover those.
I'm gonna do that, okay.
Next, we have human services. Oh, yes, Don, you had a question?
Yeah, I know the motion, everything's passed. I have clarification, so do we have any details on why we approved the dispensaries we approved, or are we already supposed to have all that figured out?
Sorry. You want to just give a clarification on that?
Well, yeah, what was the question again?
I just wanted to know, when we approved the cannabis dispensary,
What are we looking for?
how do we do that? Because, combined, I can't really approve, but.
Okay, so, I mean, we, as a committee, took the time, we basically took SLA and the model we have in place. and we tailored it towards the cannabis, applications. So we, we tweaked them, we have a stipulation form, the questionnaire, all that. We increased the, public notice, so, which we kind of changed for everything, so you need 3 letters of support. 1 has to be from a business or an organization. 2 have to be from either residents or other businesses or organizations. I mean, it's the approach usually of the committee when we set procedures and they're followed. They attend, that we usually will approve. So the one that we did approve, they submitted everything they were supposed to. They attended, they asked any questions they were asked, there was no issues. I will throw like a third thing on, this is a little bit more subjective. There are areas, there could be an application that submits everything and, they come and they seem like they're a good operator, but it could be a location that we just don't feel is right. There are certain areas where it might not make sense. I know some people have concerns about maybe like areas of Lexington Avenue or being too close to certain treatment facilities or whatever. So we are taking all that into account, but that's more going to be a case by case basis. So in the case of the one I just went through and anything that might have been approved at executive, the ones that got denied, they basically didn't submit anything, didn't come. So they made our job very easy. And then the ones that we did approve are the ones that, submitted everything. The applicants came in, answered any questions, whatever it was, and, nobody raised any concerns about those locations, being an issue. And so that's how we're open-minded to tweaking this. I mean, I've attended, multiple meetings, multiple forums, and I will say that if there's confusion here, it's not just this board, it's a citywide thing. But, we definitely were careful about how we did it. I think I spoke to Xavier, considering writing up a resolution to OCM because there does seem to be confusion with what is being done exactly. And, it's our idea that the SLA model is pretty good and pretty strong, and we're just a little confused why it's not really just being like a one-for-one adoption with the way we kind of tweaked it. So I think we're in a good position here. I mean, that's my opinion. I feel the committee was comfortable. Everybody had ample opportunity to give feedback or concerns or whatever. But I think as a committee, we're in a pretty good position right now that we feel comfortable with.
Thank you. Great. Isaac, you for the call.
Good evening, everybody. So for the Human Services Committee, we met on December 11th. The first announcement I would like to make is that we have a new vice chair, so we all welcome Jennifer Myers. Right, I love that. So we had our information updates. We had 2, one from the Department of Health and Mental Hygiene. No significant reports on like COVID or anything like that, but Pauline did take the time to go through really quickly the website to show us how we could be navigating the site to get the right demographics and data that we may need with respect to the information that the Department of Mental Health is gathering. So really just helping us to look through the database that they have. She's going to come back in January, and do a full-on presentation. I asked her to do that because I think it's important that organizations understand not just how to find the information, but how the information can be helpful to them in program development as well as fundraising for their work. The other set of updates were from our East Harlem Emergency Management Organization, East Harlem COLAC. We had 2 presentations. One presentation was from the New York Farmland Health and Behavioral Health Programs. So the organization is the New York Farmland, but it was regarding the health and behavioral health programs, which are health services which support children and adolescents who experience poverty, crisis abuse, and family stress in their home and community. So this was to go a little bit back to the conversation last week, which I agree was a very, very good conversation. Behavioral health was one of the resources that was spoken about being in need of. So it was important that we had this organization come and speak so that the community understands there are behavioral health support mechanisms out there for parents who
maybe just overwhelmed. There's a lot going on right now. We have a lot of single parents, managing a lot, so it can get stressful. And sometimes we need that extra support. So just making sure that the community knew what was out there. They also filled out our organizational assessment form, so we have them in our database of organizations serving the community. Secondly, we had a presentation for a request for a letter of support for the Committee of Interns and Resident Service Employees and International Union and their contract negotiations with the New York City Health and Hospitals Metropolitan. So this is the group of interns and residents who do all of the heavy lifting at the doctor. When you go to the doctor and you're in the middle of the night, they're the ones who are coming into your room and caring for you. Most of the time, they are interns and they are still in school. So they are negotiating their contracts with Metropolitan, and they ask for a letter of support. So they sent us a draft of what they are looking for support with. So we'll work that out amongst the committee and with the board office to make sure that we are providing them with the right type of support and our letter of support. And with that, that concludes my report for the year. Everybody, Merry Christmas, joyous Kwanzaa, and Happy New Year. Any questions about it?
Any questions?
Thank you.
Really? Thank you so much. And with that, we'll move on to the economic development. Board. Giselle.
Good evening, everyone. During our December meeting, we had our usual information update. We were made aware of all of the holiday festivities. From what I've been told, they've been very well attended, so thank you to those who have come out to support very, very local vendors. That just helps keep money in the community. We also had a presentation from Strive and Lopez. They have a program, a few programs starting in January and February. There's a construction cohort that begins in February, where you receive OSHA 30, FSP scaffolding 4 and 16, flaggers, Philippa and David internship. You must be 18 years or older. They have a health office operation training that begins in January. This is pretty much where they train you for location transport, food, custodial training. And this specific cohort includes blood work pathogens, OSHA 10, food handlers, and CPR certification. You also must be 18 years old. They have maintenance cohort beginning in January. A fresh start program is they have a reentry program. You need to have at least a minimum of 6 months out of the jail system or on parole or probation. It's a guaranteed paid internship and you must be 25 years old. All of their programs come with a learn and earn incentive, metro funds every week, lunch 2 to 3 times a week, breakfast every day, and some incentives, some financial incentives after a month, 30 days working. All participants have a 24-hour job coach to walk them through any hurdles or problems. So if you know anyone else interested in benefiting in that program, please reach out. During our old business section, we had an opportunity as community members to talk and engage in conversations about certain topics that we had in our old business section. And we will have a letter of support coming up in January in regards to designating East Harlem Agricultural District. We had a robust conversation on the city of Yes. We submitted our questions to land use. And any questions?
Questions? Thank you, Jason. We will now move on to our land use remarks. Yes.
So we had 2 presentations, one from our lady on George James and then Li's presentation as it relates to the city of Yes. So I have the opportunity, I really recommend those of you that weren't able to attend, to go to the website and review George's presentation, take into consideration some of the items that you brought up and or review it through the YouTube video. The second item, for an update, as you heard earlier from Ms. Malave, we received her questions, and the questions that were presented at land use were consolidated and sent to DCP yesterday. We requested that DCP get that information back to us a week before our land use committee meeting next month. So then that way we can, properly prepare with drafting the resolution. Third and final update to all board members. We have provided a share drive folder as it relates to this, zoning text amendment. It's located in the land use landmarks and planning committee folder within the board member team drive, which is fully accessible by all board members. If there's any issues with that, please either email myself and or into the same, so that way we can ensure that any questions, concerns, or research that needs to be done, that you, obviously have access, so that way we can, try our hardest to consolidate everyone's concerns as it relates to, as you heard, items that are going to be adjusted with this proposed zoning text amendment. So the second presentation was related to another zoning text amendment, which is new to the position. As noted in the minutes, on the agenda, the proposed zoning text amendment seeks to modify Article 9, Chapter 7, Section 97-501, which requires accessory off-the-street residential parking of the zoning resolution, such that parking regulations applicable to R7-2 zoning districts apply to all RCA zoning districts within the special 1.5th Street district and to Board 11. Adam Ria made a motion to recommend this application be denied. Denied support. The motion was seconded by Kenny Davis Vasquez and passed unanimously. Thank you.
Any questions? Yes, sir.
So, just to be clear, so they wanted to, not have parking or yes to have parking? I must have misheard.
That's right. They do not want to.
And that's what the resolution, they were asking for your support to not have any parking.
Yes, to change the zoning text amendment.
Okay.
So we did not support that, primarily because CB10 also didn't support it, and the project is located a little bit more in the district now.
Thank you.
Any other questions? So in regards to land use application, number N 2204, around 15, this year tax. The land use plan. Yep. To the second, all those in favor? Any opposed? Jen Myers opposed. Any abstentions? The motion carries. Thank you. With that, we move on to public safety and transportation. Jose, are you still on with us and able to present? If not, okay, we'll go to Michelle. Can you please present the committee's report?
Hi, everyone. We had our usual update, and we did have three specific information. We explore resolutions to eliminate safety and traffic improvements directly related to live court operations at Lake Tenants Association. And then we did not actually vote on anything, we just heard what they wanted to say. So we listened to these presentations in our motion always to listen and then to deliberate and then to vote on them the following month. The second one was to just a discussion on the MTA intended relocation of the M35 bus terminal from Lexington Avenue between East 125th to 126th Street to East 125th Street between Lexington and 3rd Avenue. And this was a rather heated topic since right now, when you turn a certain way, it's going to be impeding a lot of pedestrians and it would make it rather unsafe. And so we are trying to find if we can work with these groups so that we can get a better way to keep all of our constituents safe. The third and final one was a discussion with the NYC DOT status update on East 117th Street and Pleasant Avenue. And we have been working on a continuous basis with them. First, it was, something that was gonna be a hard, like a wall of granite, and then it was gonna be little rubber things to prevent people that are walking in that area from getting hit by cars. And so it just keeps changing. And so we'll keep you updated on how it keeps changing. And then our last thing was, an old business, was to discuss the public safety awareness conference, which ended up being good.
We made it.
It happened. The keynote speaker, Commissioner Kevin O'Connor, really gave a real picture of what's happening. And I don't think a lot of people expected him to be so real. And because he was so real, when the individuals that came to speak on the upbeat note, it was the conference was set up as here's the meal, and then the dessert were people from Coffee Safari, so from Harlem, and the interactive lunch, because everything was on that, ended up on a positive note, people discussed things, and it looked like it was going to continue that discussion. And we are going to be doing another one the following year, which was suggested right almost after it was done. Like, what are you gonna talk about next year? And so we've already chosen our keynote speaker, and we're just gonna figure out what day it's gonna be, but this time it will be on a Saturday instead of a Friday. And so that ends my report. Unless Jose is on there
Please don't.
and would like to add it.
I do not see those.
Are there any questions?
Jessica?
Was there any change in the approach at 117th Street based on the main tenant leaving the complex?
Was there any change on the approach of what?
Was there any change to the streetscape strategy based on the changing volume of pedestrians at River Crossing?
We have kept that the same. Why? Because as the amount of people that are there has decreased, it would be better to implement safety measures before the volume actually does increase. So it has not, that approach has not changed, because people are people and they still need to be safe when they're crossing in that area. And so we have kept it the same. However, it has not come to fruition yet, unfortunately.
Thank you.
There was-
Another question? Someone else had their hand raised? Are you a board member? Oh, no, so this is during, we're in the business session, so we encourage members who, the public who want to attend go to the committees, and that's, it's a really good conversation. Once we get into the business session, board members can. But feel free to speak with Michelle after the meeting or while we're going on the next committee. You're more than welcome. Thank you.
I just wanted to say one more thing.
Yes.
Happy holidays, everyone.
Congrats, again, to the Great Public Safety Conference. So, well, everyone, we want to round of applause. With that, we'll move on to executive committee. Yes.
Jose.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
No, true.
All right, we're gonna move the agenda along. To executive committee, I'm gonna have it down. We had to move our executive committee meeting, forward this month. And, then I'm gonna give a brief explanation why, and then we're gonna recap us.
I think I touched on this, I'm not gonna keep long. There's like a 30-day window for boards to comment on application. Part of the confusion that I said was going on was when that 30 day started and whether you can get an extension or not. We did request the extension, we were denied that extension. So the only way for us to get the committee to vote on it and then ratify it was to have the executive meet the day after our committee did. And that was because, and the reason that some of the applications were split up was because one I went over before, submitted their 30-day notices later. So this meeting was still within the window to take position. These were submitted earlier, and so they weren't. So that was what happened. Does anyone have any questions about that? Okay, great. So then I'll let you, I guess, run them down, all right?
And these are picked up from what the committee's recommendations were previously. Number 15, NYTC nominating, which is number OCM, CAURD dash 2022 dash 0002, no problem about Main Street. Committee recommended that be denied. Number 16 was Pathology NYC, NYLC, at 1873rd Avenue on 3rd Street. Committee recommends that its application be approved. 17 is 118 Street Realty LLC, and for license to be at 2290 Cooper Ave, under 18th Street. Committee recommends that its application be approved. Number 18, 115 Corner LLC, located 345 East 15th Street, First Avenue. Committee recommends its license to be approved. Number 19 is the 3 Hop for a property located 420 East 15th Street. The committee recommends that this application be denied. The application is on. Number 20, NYCL 302 LLC, 1901 Lexington Avenue, 18th Street. The committee recommends this application be denied. 21, NYCL East 149th Street 4 LLC at 1901 Lexington Avenue, 19th Street. The committee recommends this application be denied. And number 22, NYCL Lexington Ave, that is 1901 Avenue, 18th Street. The committee recommends this application be denied. Is there a motion to approve the committee? Nelson, no recommendation.
Motion to approve committee recommendations as expressed in the.
Seconded by Andy. All those in favor? Any opposed? Don is opposed.
I'm present, not voting.
President not voting for which one, please?
17, 18, 19.
19 is present not voting for the three not. Any extensions?
Chair,
Yes.
can I just put something out there? I know we're trying to move quickly, but some of my colleagues in the Bronx, when they were, struggling with the same issue, they asked some of the applicants where they live, and depending on where they lived, they asked the applicants, would you put this in your neighborhood? And some of them actually said, no, I don't want this in my neighborhood. So my colleagues in the Bronx were like, well, why do you think it should be in our neighborhood? And, you know, so there was some interesting dialogue that people told the truth. So I do suggest going forward, we ask the applicants where they live. And if they are not in our community versus if they are in our community, we should wait. So I know that wasn't the appropriate place to say that, but I missed the question and answer after the reading of it.
No, that's absolutely fine, but I'm sure it's going to read off you heard all of that. I'm sure the committee was.
Hard to hear, but you can
Yeah.
let me off the record.
Yeah, they're great recommendations. I'm sure the committee is still into. So we have a motion. Thank you. We have a motion that was, any extensions? Saying none, the motion carries. Thank you. The next action item we had was a motion, we had a discussion about the tree lighting that we have historically supported, year after year after year, given how tight things have become, especially since we have a hybrid model where we going forward have a videographer recording everything, especially full board. Well, all right, that's that. We've had an increased cost, thankfully, to our council member that used to be Graviola. We've had a significant appropriation offset some of that, but again, this is needed, what we're gonna allocate. So out of we had 3 committees agree to allocate 1,500 for the East Harlem Holiday Tree Committee. Those committees were Executive Committee, Economic Development, Culture Committee, and the Housing Committee. We had a lot of youth come out from international developments as well as Franklin Plaza. Was very well received, and that motion was made by Michelle, seconded by unanimously. Yes, please.
Motion to support the committee's recommendation.
All right, we have a motion to support the recommendation. Charlie is seconding. All those in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, Charlie Ballon abstains, and Joe John, you abstain? Yes, all right, noted, motion carries. The other little bit with the executive committee, I just want to call attention to it. We did have a discussion, continuing discussion about board member attendance and removal costs and being invited of our bylaws. The committee had an extremely long conversation about it, and both the benefits and detriments of removal, and the process and fairness, and then what we concluded is that going forward, January, we will assess those members in question who are falling into the category of being at risk from this year, this cycle of September through December. And so the new secretary will be issuing a report and contacting members, chairs here, president. Please reach out to your committee members. If they have been absent 2 or more in a row, chase them down. The secretary can start working with all of you to make sure there's being followed up on, and she will be issuing reports going forward. So that way we don't run into this predicament. We will be notifying all those members, not going to take subsequent action. And but we will be just in any others that have come up, so for being at risk for attendance issues. Because as you saw, we couldn't even start the meeting until close to 7 o'clock tonight. The meeting was due to start at 6:30. Going forward, the other thing that came out of that meeting was that we're going to implement the professor rule. And any of those who remember from undergrad, if you have 15 minutes, the chairs in 15 minutes, you will start reading from your script to begin the meeting. If you do not have a quorum, you will then adjourn for 5 minutes. So once you get to the 20-minute mark, so it's 30 minutes, you get to this, right? 6:50, so 5 minutes later, you will call for roll again. If there is no quorum, the meeting will adjourn. That's what we're doing going forward. Those numbers that was discussed at executive and agreed to as procedural, so it doesn't need to be ratified by the body. So just again, going forward, everyone be here on time, respect your fellow board members so we can get it done. That's all we're asking. That way we don't have a risk of quorum and then it falls on executive committee. So that's some of the things we touched on. So again, yes, more to your question.
Can I have a point of clarification on the last previous intervention?
Okay. Back to that. So yes,
Just so I can make sure I understand what you just said.
Can hear you.
Can you hear me now? Or do you want me to get on the mic? So after 15 minutes, we will make an announcement that we're giving 5 more minutes and 5 more in 5 minutes. By the 20 minutes, that's when we will take an attendance and then adjourn, not after 20 minutes.
Correct.
But
To clarify, 6:30 or 6 o'clock meeting, say 6 o'clock meeting. If you don't have quorum, you still call the meeting to order, you take attendance at 6:15. No quorum, adjourn for 5. 6:20, call the roll again. No quorum, the meeting is adjourned, and it will be noted in the record which members were absent and or excused. Yes,
will that also take into account full board meetings?
this is something that the executive committee will discuss, and you will be at those that we was tonight. We got a start of a half hour. We're doing okay time right now, it's 17, but still, that means we will be done much of it. Again, it's about being respectful to everyone, and life happens, but we all got here on time. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, that's why the 15-minute rule, because that's an alarm for subway. So, back to the previous item, yes, Desmond, the question regarding the attendance component and bylaws?
No, about
dollars allocated by committees to support the event. Fully in support of the Eastern Elementary Committee. I just want to confirm, there was a question, I believe, earlier this year about whether there were discretionary funds available to committees to be committed to various types of activities, and I think that was middle. There was going to be a report back. It seems that the dollars were found and allocated and spent. Can there be some sort of an update at the committee level, perhaps, about where we stand with all of that?
Yeah, exactly. We discussed which days we did get allocation for those second months. So not all committees, like office oversight, not the allocation.
Right.
That's one, license to the permits, I don't get that allocation either. So those were examples, and that was discussed exactly because of the strengths of having to have hybrid meetings. However, we could easily make a decision later on to remove all hybrid meetings, to no part of the potential of contractors to get into the cyberspace.
I'm sorry, where did board members find the information about which funds have been allocated funds? Thank you.
Thank you.
If I could add, a couple of months ago, I shared as part of my district manager's report, an end of year report, spending report, and a draft budget for this fiscal year, which included the funds for the committees. We will forward a list of the names of those committees, but the amount that was being set aside to support committee work was included in that report, and that was months ago.
Great.
You're welcome.
Yeah, and just add on that, in addition to stuff that, that's I've been working on, so it's,
Yeah, just to note, we're thinking about a lot of things short and long term for the community board generally, and I think, David and Asher, the Youth and Education Committee, decided to do their goals and, accomplishments at the beginning of our fiscal year, in September, which I was personally confused about because I normally do mine from our committee, in January, and I think that, one of the discussions Xavier and I and Angel had is maybe moving goals to September, so it's the first thing that we do when we come back for the summer. We can think across the year as to what we might need to allocate funds for, and that, we're sort of going into the year prepared and not, making last minute decisions in any case, but just some ongoing discussions. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yes. Okay. With that, we'll move on to, back to this executive committee, move on to new business. We have 2 street activity permits. And, wrong Angel, that these 2 just missed of the executive, put out earlier in license, these are 2.
Correct.
Cases number 2425. This is the, town grant set the blue box on Wednesday, and number 751683 on the problem. It runs Wednesday, January 3rd to December 18th, 2024. This is the vendor and CEO that is working with us, and no issues, each and every year. It's just the way it's on our calendar. The only thing that is the second one, which is it wasn't being set at the farm stand, which is on Thursdays. It's numbers of 51689 farm market on Thursday, January 4th, December 6th. That's also 10 a.m. or 7 p.m. The previous one is 12 p.m. And the locations, number 24, would be 25th Street, 25 Madison, sidewalk and curb and closure and barrier. And 25 would be 115 Street, and sidewalk. Changes to both houses. And we'll just be on. Yes, Charles. All right, so hold on, I'll approve 24, motion, by Charles to approve, second, by Jane Rodriguez, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Huh? Any opposed?
No.
Any abstentions? The motion carries. And with that, we have number 25, PS 57 Farm Stand, Thursday, 751689. Is there a motion to approve? Motion call? Motion to approve. Is there a second? Can you just ask us? I'm sorry, Mr. Here. All right, and all those in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? The motion carries. Now, the old business. Seeing no old business, we have one announcement. I'd like to bring, Jordan Wright to the floor real quick. And, go ahead, Jordan.
Everybody, I'm Jordan Wright. My name's Jordan Wright, been a member of this board for since 2020. Joined here during COVID. It was a interesting phase of my life when I came in here. Didn't know what I wanted to make of my life. Kind of made a decision since then. I want to thank Xavier and Joseph for being here with me. I was lucky enough to manage the city council campaign. That candidate was victorious, and I will be joining the council, the office of Councilmember Yusuf Salam from January. This is my last meeting. So thank you all. So thank you. Appreciate it.
Congratulations. Yes, Angel.
Congratulations, buddy. I have a question on behalf of Community Board 11. We've had a history of poor attendance by the council member for District 9. Can we count on you, our friend and colleague, to bring your new boss to our meeting on a regular basis?
Listen, it's a new day in Harlem. We are all here. We're going to fully expect Councilmember Salam to attend these meetings, and if not him, you will always have the representative. So thank you.
Thank you, Jordan.
Thank you. John here.
Angel, I have 2 words for you. Thank you.
So I want to thank Jordan, for, his time service and congratulate you. And the little announcement, not good in the book, it just happened, today, is that we had a meeting with Councilmember Black, talk about right issues. So, congrats to that role. And, we look forward to it here. Thank you for your service. And all around the possibility. And with that, no more announcements.
Another announcement.
Yes, Malik.
Oh, I wanted to thank everyone who, helped donate, some toys for the toy drive. Vinny, I want to thank you too, Nilsa, some of the others that are about the toy drive. I really appreciate y'all. So I wanted to thank y'all so much. Thank you.
We have one more announcement to make.
Just another quick one. I want to thank Vinny Torres and the folks at Positive Workforce for contributing the TV staff to the board office.
With that, so my little Christmas Hanukkah one's Festivus present to you is the all work. Thank you, everyone. Have a safe holiday. Well,